Hey, what's up? It's time for another of Gazbot's Toy Shots. First up, I'm going to show you a few things that I actually got a little while ago, but they've been sitting around. I haven't had a chance to play with them or look at them until recently, and so I'll go ahead and include them, even though they're not exactly recent acquisitions. First, boom. This is, I believe the katakana here says something along the lines of Shanzarion, which took me forever to look up. I didn't know what this was. I got this at Kimono My House. Because it says 18, they were selling it for 15. They occasionally just have stuff like, hey, this is for sale. And like the blue SWAT, I hadn't heard of it, but it looked kind of neat and it was cheap, so I picked it up. After some searching, it looks like the English, the Romaji version is sort of Changerion, Optical Soldier, something like that. It ran for a season or so in Japan. It never came over to America, but it was in the 90s, and I guess, and this is by Bandai, by the way, and I guess one of the things it's most notable for is that if you look, the Rider character, this is not part of Kamen Rider or Masked Rider, but this Rider and this series is credited by some as having had a lot of influence on the Kamen Rider series, specifically during the Heisei period or the 90s. So that's sort of what makes this notable. I just thought it was a cool robot that turns into a motorcycle, and it has a lot of chromy parts and pearlescent middle. I'm not going to open it right now, but at the end, as I usually do, I'll have pictures of it when it's open. So that was number one. And again, Kimono My House, $15, hard to go wrong. Something I got when I went down to the toy show in Salinas with my friend Alex. We stopped at a yard sale in front of a church that had like 4 things, a little box of nothing, and I got this Ranger key. This is a Bandai America Super Mega Force Ranger key. This is silver, but if you notice, the paint is a little different. That's because this is one of the ones that you get for free either with a kid's underwear or a kid's Halloween costume. And it was just randomly in there, and I paid less than $1 for it because he had wanted something out of the box, and we're like, how much for these? She's like $1. So awesome find that goes in my collection. I wouldn't have paid more for it, but it's one I didn't have, so that was a cool find. This right here is, I got it at Mitsuha, and that's the Japanese food store by my house. And this, it's called World Tank Museum Kit. And what it is it's some miniature tanks. And they had a few different sets. They have planes and things like that I've seen before. But I like these because they could be used in scale with my SH Figure Arts Godzilla figure. They could be used with my Ultra Act Ultraman figures. I have a whole little setup in there, and I'm always looking for small, inexpensive things to sort of make them look larger than life, as opposed to just standing on a shelf in a line. So I was happy to get this. It was a little bit on the pricey side. I want to say it was like $8. It was a little while ago I bought it, so it was more than 5, less than 10. Which is a little bit more than I'd like to spend, but it's exactly the kind of thing I like for that, so I grabbed it. Also at Mitsuha, it's a little dink. This is from the 66 line. This is the Ultraman classic villain, the Baltan Seijin, or Baltan Alien. This is the original classic version who would fight the Hayata Ultraman, who is my favorite, and this is my favorite villain of his, as with many people. The original line had Hayata, Ultra 7, and Ultraman Ginga. This is the only one I got of that line, unfortunately, and it was the only one they had there at the time. They also, this line 66 makes Dragon Ball, and it also makes Kamen Rider. And Q, my wife, has started collecting this line, and since I got this, she had actually got some of the Ultra Heroes from the second line, including Taro and Ace, and she's gotten some of the Kamen Rider as well, so this will actually end up in her collection. I got it to be a little thing to throw on the side of my case, but it'll look nice in her collection. And this was $6.50 retail. I've seen these online going out for $10 or $15, but if you have a Nijaya or Mitsuha near you, and you're interested in these, check them out there, because $6.50 is the American retails, which means they're probably even cheaper if you can get them in Japan or elsewhere. But really cool little posable figures. Again, you'll see it out of the box at the end of the video. Now we're moving into current stuff. This is things that I've gotten in the last couple weeks. First up, again, this is from Nijaya, which is the smaller Japanese store. I compare it more to like a 7-Eleven as opposed to a full-fledged food store. Specifically the one up in San Francisco, which is near the Japantown Mall. There's one here in San Jose, but the one up there usually has a better selection. And I got this wine box from the Ninja, I believe is how it's pronounced. I've not been a huge fan of the shuriken gimmick they have. I mean, my mind might change because I haven't actually watched the Sentai yet. But this one turns into a little robot, which I believe helps power the big main Gestalt Megazord type thing, and I thought it was cool. and this was about $6 if I remember correctly. So that was a fun little find. And then this, these little boxes, and I know I'm going to do the gun shop. There's these little dinky boxes. Also from Nijaya, also the one in San Francisco. This is from Gundam. I don't really collect a lot of Gundam, but I thought, again, these would be cool little pods that I could deploy against my kaiju figures and my ultra heroes and my any Kyodai figures, which are like giant heroes, and it would help with the scale and look kind of like a futuristic, you know, we're part of the Earth Defense Force against these kaiju. I believe this was $6 or $7 as well. That was a little bit more than I like to spend. It's funny because those were about as much as that Bolton Sage 66 figure, and on paper the 66 line is just way better. It's a fully articulated figure as opposed to a little thing, but I don't know how they figure out the pricing on that stuff. Okay, this is a figure I've been wanting for a while. I've been checking eBay. I put on a watch for every version of how they describe it until I could find one at a reasonable price, and I finally got it. This is the Bandai America Titanium Ranger from the Super Legends line. They had a subline in the main line that had Zeo Gold and a couple other figures, as well as the Titanium. Now, Titanium Ranger is an American-only figure. He was part of Lightspeed Rescue, which was Go-Go 5 or Go-Go V in the Sentai, but this character only existed in America, which I find interesting. You know, I like the American-only characters, and I have a version of him from the Super Mega Force line that's 5 inches, a little squat. He doesn't have these shoulder pads. I did my research, and the original vintage Lightspeed Rescue figures were way too muscular. They weren't metallic enough for me. This guy has a slim build. He's got the shoulder pads. He's in really great shape. I got him for $20 shipped. I think I paid $15, $5 shipping, which is not an amazing price, but it's the cheapest I found him. He usually goes for more. That whole line is pretty in demand. And for my money, this is the best version of this character you're ever going to find, because since he's American only, they're not going to do an SH Figure Arts. So if you like this character, this is the one you want. While we're on the subject of Power Rangers, specifically Power Rangers, this is not Sentai. This is from Operation Overdrive, which is my friend Alex's favorite season. And lucky for me, he was willing to part with this. Now, I previously showed you the Tracker Morpher I got. This one, he had gotten a lot of other toys and was willing to trade it to me. I gave him some duplicate Ranger Key Reds I had, as well as a duplicate Quantum Time Force Ranger that I had. And he gave me this. This is the Mercury Overdrive Morpher. The only thing wrong with it is that the Velcro doesn't work, but it's not like I'm going to be wearing it around anyway. And just like the regular Tracker Power Ranger Henshin device, this one, you see, it's a fun little flip up, is a superior quality to the average American ones. It's got a lot of different features. Dakota Ready, it's got the same UV light. And then you can do different modes. Megazord action, and to make it work, you have to press... Oops, I hit the wrong button. Hold on a sec. Megazord action, you have to start it, and you have to twist this. 1, you can see the lights coming on here. 2, 3, now it's ready. And you get the Megazord. Poor vehicle. Whatever, the point is there's a lot of light and sound, and it's high quality. Operation Overdrive, yeah, superior morphers, especially for America. Alright, the big daddy that I've been waiting. Boom! What? There's nothing in it. That's because I already took him out. This is from Big Bad Beetleborgs, known as Beef Fighters in Japan, I believe. This is Shadow Warg. It's a 12-inch figure. I think it's technically 11.5 or something. Got it in the box, although the box is pretty beat up. Got this off of eBay. He is in almost perfect condition. He's technically used, but he has his gun, he's got his claw grab, and there's an extended one you could get. He's super chromey good. He's more posable than you'd think for a large figure like this. He also has light and sound, which I'm a fan of, but when I tried it, I was underwhelmed. You turn him on, the chest blinks, that sound comes out, and it never stops. And it's not a button you press. If it was a button I could press to like activate an attack, nope. It's just constantly on. It's one of the worst light and sound features I've ever seen. That aside, this guy's awesome. He's in great shape. He's chromy. The black, I don't know if the camera really picks up, the black is even chromy. And again, he's pretty well articulated. He comes with good weapons. He has stickers that I haven't applied, but they came in the box. I got him for a song on eBay. I wasn't even really looking for him. I was kind of loosely just looking at like Beetleborg stuff. There's actually a gold and blue one that I was interested in. I don't know a lot about Beetleborgs. I didn't really watch them that much when they were on, like I'd mentioned in a previous video, but I love these chromy figures. And I found him, and it was $1.99 starting bid. And I said, I'll put $2, see what happens. And I won. A week later, for some reason, nobody bid on him. I never really checked. Maybe it was mislisted. Maybe I got lucky. But he was in the box, and again, the box is beat up. I kind of feel bad because the person, with shipping, I think it was like $7 shipping, but I think the shipping was more than I ended up paying. So I think the person who sold it kind of made a mistake with shipping, which I've done before in the past, so I can sympathize. But the point is, this figure, even with shipping, was less than $10. It's an amazing figure. It's really great. When I was, well, I'm going to fast forward. I was at a toy show, and the next toy shots I'll talk about, and I saw another from this line for $30, but he was scuffed up. He didn't have the battery pack on him. He didn't have any weapons, didn't have a box. And it was a bummer because I would like to get more in this line, but not for that price. This guy is really great. I would say he's worth $20. He's worth maybe $30 if you find him in great condition in the box like this, like I did. I'm very happy with him. He's one of my favorite things I've found recently. I've had him out of the box for a week or so now, and he just sits on my desk, and I just keep looking at him. The shine of the light off him is lovely. And like I said, he has a gun, and this gun is perfect for when you have to close out an episode of Gazbot Toy Shots!